I'm Lucy from Having It in East Hants Mind, and today we're in Staunton Country Park with Kate from National South Downs, and we're here to talk about our Mental Health Awareness Week and how being in the nature and the countryside can benefit our mental health. Kate, do you want to just describe your job role quickly for me?
Yeah, so I'm Kate Drake. I'm the Health and Wellbeing Officer at South Downs National Park, and I cover the whole of the park, which is from Winchester all the way across to Eastbourne.
Lovely. And then, so we're, unfortunately the weather isn't on our side today, but we're here to talk about how getting out in the outside can benefit our mental health. Can you just tell me a little bit about the South Downs National Park?
Yeah, so the South Downs National Park is one of 15 national parks across the UK. The South Downs National Park is the youngest park, and so it's been around for 12 years. It covers all the way from Winchester in the west across to Eastbourne in the east. Then if you go widthwise, it covers sort of from the edge of Havant right the way up to Hodmore, Borden area.
Amazing. So it's a massive area for people to get out and explore.
Yeah.
So no matter where you are in Hampshire area, you'll be able to have access to it.
Yeah, definitely. And there's places that you can come into the park where there's bus routes, and there's also train routes, and then there's places that you can look at on our website that tells you how to get into the park, where there's a cafe and there's toilets that's slightly more accessible, like where we are today at Staunton Park.
Yeah, because Staunton's quite close to Lee Park, Havant City Centre, so it is quite a close place for people to come who are in the city who may not have access to a car and stuff, to go to the ones that are a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely, and it's quite a wild place here, and even though there's nice trails, but you can still hear, if you just listen, you can hear all the birds.
Yeah.
So it still feels like you're out in the countryside.
Yeah. What would you say is the main beneficiary of getting out, if you're having a bit of a down day, or you just feel like you need to get out?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me personally, I find getting out into the natural world can really help slowing things down. And I think as humans, sometimes we spend a lot of time in our heads.
Yeah.
And I think coming into the natural world really helps me get into my body more, and then being able to tune into my senses and just to notice the trees and the flowers and the birds and the grass can really sort of take me out of that thinking and bring me into my body more, which helps to slow things down and helps with my personal mental health.
So say we were walking around here today, and you didn't feel quite your best, you'd have a look around, you'd notice what you can see, what you can hear, what you can smell, what you can feel, and it would just take you out of that. Hopefully it will take you out of the place.
Great, at that racing in your head.
Yeah. Can you share some outdoor activities that you do, that you could do in the outdoors, that would be good for mindfulness?
Yeah, I think again, it's just taking a gentle stroll through the natural world, so through a park, and maybe I'll talk from my own perspective, standing under a tree and just being next to that tree and just slowing down and just noticing the leaves and the bark, and maybe there's some nuts on the tree, maybe there's lots of animals on the tree, but just taking that time just to notice. And we've sort of talked about that before, but just really taking time to notice, because then it makes me realise that I'm just one small person in a bigger world, and gives me more of a perspective. So that's one thing I would suggest. And then another thing is there's, if you want to come into the national park, there's lots of different things that you could do. You could come by bike, or you could walk, or we run some projects that's very much around making and creating as well. But maybe when you're walking in the national park, you could do some making notes and writing, or maybe even some drawing. It's completely up to you, how you do that. But there's lots of opportunities, I think, when you're out in the national park.
I've noticed here today as well, when we've been walking around Staunton, they've got on the wooden post, they've got little animals that you can go find, so they've got different insects that you can have a little search for, they've got a QR code that you can scan, and it takes you to direct you to a page to have a look around. I feel like the South Downs National Park has started to put a lot into their well-being and the mental health side of things, because they know how beneficial the outdoors is for anyone, really.
Yeah, definitely.
And just getting out, moving your body, even being in outdoors, and the little bit of exercise as well. So walk can be really beneficial for everyone and anyone,
Yeah,
really.
definitely. And I mean, there's been cases or times where I've taken people to come to a place in the park where there's a cafe, there's a toilet,
Yeah.
and for some people that's enough.
Yeah.
Just to come and to just be surrounded by trees and grass and flowers, but then just to go on a little stroll, like you say, just noticing different things.
Yeah. What other partnerships does South Down National Park have?
So we work closely, well, I work very closely with Mind,
Yeah.
and I work closely with carers as well, and social prescribers. I've also just started working with families and also refugees and asylum seekers. So any organisation that would benefit from their participants coming into the National Park, I'm always open to having those discussions about how I can make that happen for people. So a number of organisations really, but always on the lookout for more.
Always on the lookout for one. That's good. That's great. What advice would you give someone who may be a bit anxious or feels a bit daunted about going into a big open outdoor space?
I think it's maybe staying local to begin with, so it could be to go with a family member or a friend or maybe someone from an organisation to take you to a local park where you can just get to grips with what it's like being in an open space, and then when you're feeling more comfortable you can think about going somewhere a bit further afield, and then eventually if you feel even more comfortable then they could then go into the national park. But I think it's always nice to go with somebody else as well if that's possible, just to help alleviate those anxieties and enhance that experience.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you for taking our time to listen to me and Kate today. So Kate, where can people find out more information about Staunton Country Park and the South Downs National Park?
So to go on Staunton Park's website, and if you want to find out more about South Downs National Park, to go on our website. And also if you go into our website, we've got some health and wellbeing pages, and you'll find out a little bit more about what we do in the National Park around health and wellbeing. And if you're interested in education as well, we've got a whole different selection of pages that you can visit. There's a lot there.
That's great. And if you'd like to find out any more about having an East Hampshire Mind, visit our website where you can find about all our services that we have going on, our fundraising and events that we may have in the near future.